So this is 9:15 now on Tuesday the 20th of May, and we're just leaving Bleatarn Farm, ready to meet up with Hadrian's Walk Path, which is just on this side of that hedgerow there, and we've got about 20 miles to go today. It's the weather's a lot different from yesterday, very windy. The wind changed in the night and it was extremely blustery from about 2:30 in the morning, but we've had a leisurely get up this morning and we'll see what today brings us. So here we go, we're on the way now. So we've just come through a gate and look at that, nice straight, much more interesting than yesterday already, and we've only come probably not even a mile.
It's looking like it's going to be a good day.
Yeah.
For lots of interesting history and what we actually came to see.
Whoop. Tree calm.
I like these Roman paths, straight to the point.
And that's the thing, you know. Like I was saying about when we were coming to a close yesterday, we just started seeing the site of where the wall used to be, and ultimately we're on it now. But we're not going to see any wall for probably about 10 miles yet. So if you're coming from Bowness and Solway in the west, you got about 30 miles of walking before you see anything really. But I knew that. And I knew that first day would be a bit of a slog. Yeah.
The waterfall is down there, you can't see because of the fallen tree there. Back in and then a bit of it. Right.
You're going to be famous. You're going to be famous.
Just vehicular support.
Yeah.
Down there the ditch. But, we're heading towards Milecastle now.
Yeah, we're coming down into Milecastle.
Yeah.
Greetings.
My excellent friends.
It's coming up to 1:30 in the afternoon on day 2 of our trip. What we've got here is the first real significant part of the wall, and this is Hare Hill. And we're very near Milecastle Priory, which is not far down there to our kind of 2 o'clock as we're facing now. Our path has taken us this way, and starting to meet actually a lot of people coming the other way, aren't we?
Mm-hmm.
But this is Hare Hill. Greetings. We are here now, having fortunately missed out the bank from Milecastle up to Banks, which is a big hill, but we're here now at Banks Turret, which you can see behind me. So you get a feel for how wide the wall really was, as you can see here. And I think there are only a couple of other good examples of it, and there again I'm going to go on about this along at Steel Rig and along to Housesteads, but at least here you get a good feel for how wide the wall was, and obviously it was just a smidgen over 3 meters high. But you can see I had these little turrets every so often, and this is what's left of this particular one. So just a mini staging post really for the soldiers along the wall. So now we're looking south, and you can't really see any of the landscape, and probably not on the GoPro camera here anyway, but you can see the Pennines here normally, but they're shrouded in cloud today, unfortunately. You can't see it, but you've got Beacon Hill in that direction across there, which is I think it's one of the highest peaks on the Pennines, certainly this far east of the Pennines. And from here, and I've already driven this section of road a few times in my life, the latest being February this year, but from here we're going to see quite a lot of the turrets and Milecastles. Not much of the wall though. This is a good example of wall that's been left, and invariably, you know, the stone's all been stolen as it has all the way along the wall, but you know, we really do see a good section of the wall from now on, which is a good thing. Right, greetings. Just had a bit of a break for about 15-20 minutes, in fact 25 minutes. We're going to drop down into onto the road there, which you can probably see behind me, or maybe not, I don't know, and then we go down into Birdoswald. But the plan is now, and because my feet are smashed, I've got some boots coming up from this Wiltshire, and we're going to cut today short by about 4 miles or so, and we're going to go back to Hexham for the night, so I can admin my feet, and then tomorrow we'll start fresh again. Greenhead, we're going to stop at Greenhead today, which is about 4 miles over there. So a little bit uppy downy now, but when we get onto Birdoswald, actually it's a really nice section, just like we've walked now, this last green bit here, and with a really nice section of wall. But actually we're going to get a shift on because a few spots of rain. Yep, a few spots of rain now, as you can see, and it's cooled down quite a lot, so we're going to get a shift on. Cheers, Dean. Cheers, Dean. Dean's agreed. Ciao. So this is turret 49B. Actually you can't see it now, it's just where that car is right now. That's where turret 49B is. And we've got a very good section of wall here, very nice. And actually this is the really good section of wall which goes through Birdoswald. Which we're going to get to very shortly, actually. We're quite fortunate that from basically where we are now, we do actually follow the wall for a really good distance. We had to, I mean, the wall obviously runs along the length of the road, as we can see now, but you know, we had to come off there, up the field, along the field to that kind of tree without any leaves on it, if you can see that far, and then back down again. But I think just to stay off the tarmac is the best thing, for two reasons. One, there's obviously vehicular traffic, but two, it kind of saves your knees and your ankles and whatnot walking on the soft grass. So we just walked, you know, just 200 meters further on, and we're actually at, oh, beep 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 beep, we're actually at Birdoswald now, as you can see, with the sort of modern day settlement built right on top of it. But I would imagine that they would have excavated, they would have had to have excavated what we see today, given that, you know, this was obviously built on top of it. But I mean, same old throughout history, you know, Iron Age settlers built on top of Neolithic settlements. So if the foundations were already there, then all you're going to do is improve upon them. So you know, Britain lay dormant for 2 or 3 centuries after the Romans left, and so it would have been easier just to build on what was already there, even if it was in, you know, ruin. And indeed that happened anyway, because we have towns where settlements used to be. Corbridge is now built in the vicinity of Costopatum. Costopatum was the settlement where the Romans used to cross the river, and for centuries, you know, 1,000 years afterwards, it was the only place to cross the River Tyne, you know, between Corbridge and back out west, probably to Carlisle, or certainly the River Tyne. But you can see here, look, the Roman wall is here, right on the side of the road, and you got this farm and farmstead that were built using, you know, the foundations. And but this is where it starts to get a bit wild, as you can see now. And actually, and I've said this to Dean, but all the way along, this is where it starts to get more interesting. The wall becomes more prominent. We see more settlements. For about another 15 miles from here, maybe 20 miles, I think, you know, we get to Chester's Roman fort, which is very near Chollerford, and the wall starts to kind of disappear from there. There are little bits, you know, going from there to Brunton, and then along the top to Hedden, but it does generally start disappearing. So in actual fact, where we are now is the start of the interesting bit, and we're some, you know, 35 miles into the journey now, so a day and a half, and we're starting to see the stonework. And here you go, look, hopefully the GoPro will bring this out, but there's the wall running away from Birdoswald Roman fort. Indeed, here's one of the where one of the ends of the towers, one of the ends of the fortified area was, and they would have had 4 gates, one on each side. The public road runs down, and there's a T-junction at the top, and it runs east and west, east across to Gillsland and then on to Greenhead. But you can see the wall straight as a die, and that would have been like that right from essentially where the settlement used to be at Bowness-on-Solway, all the way down to what was known as Segadinum or Wall's End. And in actual fact, there was a Roman fort a little bit further on towards Tynemouth, just past Segedinum, which was a lookout at the mouth of the Tyne, as we know it now, but not publicised really. But you know, this thing's been here for 2,000 years, and yes, it would have been quite majestic and awesome in its day, standing, you know, another 4 meters higher than it is now. But still to this day, no one really knows whether the wall was a visual deterrent, a sign of the fist from Rome saying this is what we can do, or whether it was a real-time physical barrier. And we do know that the wall was attacked on many occasions, but not a great deal is known about that, unfortunately, or certainly the outcome. But there were trading posts and there were gaps in the wall, and we're going to see that tomorrow actually. One particular very interesting bit, which I'm not going to talk about now, I'll talk about it when we get there tomorrow. One really interesting bit, one such gate in the wall to the north side, because this was the frontier between the Midland and the Northerners and the north. So we're now just down from Birdoswald. That's up the hill up there, and we've come down to the river, and we're now at the river Irthing footbridge. So this was the settlement of Willeford originally, and it says there that 3 major rivers were crossed by Hadrian's wall. We know that the Tyne at Chester's, the Eden in Carlisle, and the Irthing here in Willeford. But there's nothing left here now. But as we go across, we may see where the Romans... No, there's no evidence of it, of the original Roman... Oh, some steps. But beautiful. This bridge was put here in 1999 to help with the military. It was lifted in by Chinook, and basically just for people walking the Hadrian's Wall path. River Irthing.
This is the eastern end of the Roman bridge, and I'll flash a picture on the screen now of the information board. Hey there, fellas.
So we're at just above Gilsland. That's Gilsland behind me there, and we've walked up this bank and crossing the railway line, and you've got to be so careful, especially when you know there's a bend in the track there, and that bend is a lot closer than it looks on camera. It's very straight down there for as far as the eye can see. You've got to be so careful, and not all of the trains will be stopping at Gilsland railway station, which is just a bit along there. So yeah, so it's been raining, as you can see. I've got my jacket on. It rained, and the shower seems to have passed, so prevention is better than cure, I suppose. So we're about 10 seconds further on, and so we've hit another Milecastle, and one of the things that Dean was saying before in his commentary on his GoPro was what's the distance of a Roman mile for the Milecastles to be spaced duly apart, and I don't know the answer to that, but this may be the answer. But this is a Roman Milecastle. Now, it's on a bank, and there are a couple of things we could say about this. First of all, the land wasn't banked like this 2,000 years ago. It could have sunk in that time, or they were intelligent enough to build the walls so that, you know, the bottom section here was high, you know, had more brick in it or more stone in it rather, so that it was level all the way around. But we'll never know, I suppose. Looking at the stonework, it doesn't seem to have sunk at all. Milecastle 48. Milecastle 48. Well, from what we can work out, it's definitely not a modern day mile. Greetings. So we've crossed onto the Pennine Way. So Hadrian's Wall Path and Pennine Way follow each other for a short time, and we're now at the remains of Thirlwell Castle. You can see up there. It's been a great number of years since I've been here, probably about 24 years actually. And we've got about half a mile to do before we get to Greenhead along up here. Oh. So this is the ford at Thirlwell Castle. It's actually very deep. Very deep indeed, that. Bit of a climb there. Whew. Hard going on my bust heels. Start the crags though, but so you got Walltown Crags. Oh yeah, Caulfields of course. Walltown Crag, Caulfields, and then Steel Rig. And that's they're crags that go all from here now for about what 4, 5, 6 miles, something like that. So we're going to be picked up at Greenhead, which is in the bottom down here, because I can't if I do any more I'm going to do myself some serious damage. I've already got big blisters, which they're not really what I'm worried about. It's the bruising to my heels. So we're going to get picked up at Carvoran Roman Fort and start again from there tomorrow with some lighter, better fitting boots on my feet, hopefully, if they get delivered on time.
There's a cold air blew along here, froze all the lorries as they were driving along. Don't get this side, this is not my best side, this is my best side.